So the calculator is going to get involved here in all of these problems. And if you do not know how to have the calculator set up correctly, then we're going to have issues. All right. Number one, there's going to be long decimals all the time, constantly. There's very few that don't have long decimals. We are going to use the method we've been using other things and put down things like 0.928 ... And then we'll use those decimals in the calculator to do all of our multiplications and things like that. All right, please don't round anything until we get to the very end of the problem. Okay, I'm going to talk about the need to fill the 2 out of 3 things when we actually get to a problem. This is probably the most important one. Your calculator has 2 modes based on 2 kinds of ways of measuring angles. So you really only know one way to measure an angle. It's in degrees. You've always had all angles in degrees. There's a second unit of measurement for angles. It's not degrees. And that is what the calculator's default mode is set to if you don't change it. Okay, so right now on the screen here, I'm going to show you that if you're in your calculator and you've never done this, it's probably in the wrong mode. Mine is probably going to be in the right mode because I've been doing these problems in another class. You hit the mode button, which is right next to the second button. The 4th thing down, you see the word radian and the word degree. Okay, so since you see those 2 things right there, yours probably has radian darkened in like that. Okay, that means it's using radians for angles. All right, radians and degrees are very, very different, just like inches and millimeters are very different. So you need to go down and put this into degree mode. Because the default mode is, radian mode, anytime this calculator decides to reset itself, all right, we want to make sure that we go back in and check it as degrees. So my suggestion is every time that you take this calculator and to get out of it, to get out of the mode button, don't just hit clear, hit second and then mode for quit, and that'll take you back out of there. It won't reset anything like that. Every single time you start doing trigonometry problems for the first time that day, I would check this. All right, so I would check this every time you start using sine, cosine, tangent. That doesn't mean every problem. It means if I sit down and I'm going to do some trigonometry for today, then I'm going to hit the mode button. And then if I don't do any trigonometry for 2 days, when I start again the next 3rd day, I'm going to hit the mode button. If you just get in this habit of hitting that mode button, you're never going to have it in the wrong mode. I have been noticing more that these calculators are going back to radian mode on their own. You don't set them back to radian mode, they're doing that. And if you don't check, it's going to be difficult because you won't notice. If you show me answers, usually I'll be like, yeah, that's definitely a radian mode because you won't get negative numbers when you're doing the degree with what we do. If you're in radians, you're going to get negative numbers. All right, so that's a number one thing. Okay, but if your answers are coming out just to be really weird, all right, they just don't make sense, it's because it's in radian mode. All right, so just hit that button. I'll remind you a lot to do it, but you want to make sure that you're doing it on your own, especially if you're doing work outside of class. All right, you want to hit that mode button, make sure it's not in radian.